listening to the Fun with Horror podcast with your hosts, Scotty and Andrew.
Hello, horror friends. Welcome back to Fun with Horror, the weekly movie review podcast in which Andrew and I take turns giving each other movies to watch. And then we discuss them the following week. We only have two rules, Andrew. Two rules. The two rules are that whoever picks the movie has to pick a movie they've never seen. And we both have to watch the movie. Now, last week, Andrew, I chose Day of the Dead, the 1985 George A. Romero zombie classic.
Ooh.
And, of course, stay tuned until the end of the episode when we'll hear what Andrew is picking for next week. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves.
That's right. We have other
How was your week, buddy?
It was a good week. It was a good week.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yep. Weather's starting to really cool down up here. So, again, more leaves are becoming orange and red, which I love and appreciate.
That sounds so nice. It's 90 degrees today.
Oh, my
Here.
gosh.
I hate it.
That sounds horrible.
Like, this is one of those weeks where I stepped out of my apartment and I just stepped outside and I was just like, F you, Southern California. I hate you.
Right? Yeah. I don't miss that much heat. Like, I like it sometimes, but all year round is tough, man.
Yeah, supposedly it's going to cool down Tuesday. Oh, well, today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, hopefully today it's cooler when this podcast is being listened to by the masses.
Yes. Masses. Yes.
So, what do you got for me, buddy? What happened this week? What's new? What's incredible? What's got your panties in a bunch?
Everything's incredible.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah. So I have a question for you. This came up.
I'm going to answer it.
I hope you do answer it. I'm never going to ask a question again. Okay, so I was watching Day of the Dead, which I won't discuss yet.
Not yet, but...
But, again, watching it, it was very similar to when I watched The Changeling with the windows open and the fall, look of everything outside.
Damn
it got me, it got me thinking, though, like, I really like sitting there watching a movie like this, but is this my ideal way to watch a horror movie?
Oh.
And I got to thinking of different ways I've watched horror and what's been kind of my favorite. And so I'm curious. I'll tell you mine, but I'm curious what your ideal way to watch a horror movie would be.
Tell me yours first.
Well, I have two, and it depends on the movie itself.
Okay.
So for something like, I won't say much about Day of the Dead, but I'm going to use Changeling since we've already talked about that one. But watching Changeling felt very good watching it in the daytime. I didn't, as we mentioned in that review, it wasn't scary to me. It was just more of a fun ghost story, which I like. So I think having kind of that fall atmosphere in the daytime worked for that movie.
Right.
If it's a scary movie that I know is going to scare me, I would much rather watch that at night. Almost always. No, actually, always. That's not even almost. Always, I would rather do that. However, I will say, and this is what got me kind of thinking about it, is I would rather watch a scary movie at home than I would in a theater. And I think if this was 10 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, I would have been the exact opposite. I would have said I'd much rather watch it in the theater, in this big screen, in that kind of atmosphere where other people are excited to watch it as well. However, I feel like nowadays, and I might be wrong, but anytime I go to the movie now, I feel like people are just much ruder. People are texting or they're talking, and I feel like we've lost that kind of connect that we had to movies back in the day. In my opinion, my wife has even at one point when we went and saw Split, there was these kids shouting. I forget what they were saying, but they were being dumb. And she went over there and like chewed them out, and they immediately stopped. It was awesome.
Good job, Cindy.
I know. She went over there. She's like, people have spent money to come here. We have kids. We don't get to go out often. And I mean, she let him have it. And this kid was like, I'm sorry.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He
Oh,
was like,
good.
I'm sorry. It was like a group of these guys. Yeah.
They're going to react one of two ways to that, you know?
Oh, I know. And I sat there very, very uncomfortable and like, oh boy, this is either going to end with me fighting off 4 guys and probably getting my butt whooped, or they're going to say sorry and we're all going to enjoy the movie. And thank goodness it was the latter.
Yeah, I think a lot of times if people do realize that they're disturbing others, then they might quiet down a little bit, but
yeah.
But sometimes they don't.
It's true. But what about you? What's kind of your, if you have your others, how would you watch?
Man, you just opened up a. My thoughts were going crazy during that.
You're good.
You opened up a fishbowl of emotions.
Ooh, good.
I don't know if that's a true phrase or term or what, but it worked.
Yep, I like it.
My ideal way to watch a horror movie, and any horror movie, honestly, is at night, lights out, complete darkness, just lay back on my couch, just enjoying it.
Beautiful.
That's the ideal way. Not to say I can't enjoy horror movies another way.
Mm-hmm.
I do, like you said, I love overcast days, and watching a horror movie during the day during an overcast day is nice too. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the thrill is there in the dark. It's always there in the dark.
Fair.
Yep. It may or may not be there during the light. But the other thing I was thinking of when you were talking about that was rain. Because my first instinct is that not that I know what rain really is here in Southern California. I mean, we get it like twice a year,
right?
For an hour. And so we don't get that much that often. Mm-hmm. But if the rain isn't too loud, I definitely enjoy it, because horror movies need quiet.
Right.
You know?
Agreed.
In fact, I remember a specific night that me and our buddy JD sat down. He came over, and we sat down to watch The Conjuring 2. And we eventually, not eventually, kind of quickly, we had to turn it off because my neighbors next door were having a party. And there was no way I could immerse myself in The Conjuring 2 with a party going on in the background.
Yep.
So we just postponed for another night. So nighttime is the right time.
Yeah.
For me.
No, fair enough. I totally get that. Absolutely. Yep.
Now, the movie theater thing.
Yes, please.
Is interesting because, from living here, we had really good theaters here.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So when we had ArcLight here, which I hear one of them is coming back, but they all closed down after the pandemic. But supposedly ArcLight Hollywood is going to come back, and my fingers are really tightly crossed for that.
Awesome.
But the beautiful thing about ArcLight and some theaters in LA is that there is a lack of people. Like, you go to the right theater and you get a certain audience. If you go to AMC, Regal, what have you, you're running the risk of having people that just don't care, and they're on their phone in the theater. They're making noise and stuff. That said, opening night of a horror movie, the right horror movie, that can be fun. And I have experiences that I'll never forget. I love seeing horror movies in theaters.
Yeah. Right on.
I remember watching The Descent in the theater, and it was a full theater.
Nice.
And when people are getting just as scared as you, then it's a fun experience. And you've mentioned A Quiet Place.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
That
was a beautiful experience.
I think a movie theater, I still love movie theaters, and I'm looking forward to going back to them more often, because as much as my ideal is sitting on my couch in the dark, watching a horror movie, hoping that it's a little bit scary.
Right.
Movie theaters, I love the experience, and I would absolutely go to a movie theater to see a movie if it was playing.
You know, I agree with that. If it was ArcLight here, absolutely. You're right.
Yeah.
Because
what do you guys have?
Locally owned theaters.
Oh, yeah.
So
Smaller town, that makes it harder.
Exactly. So, yeah, if we had an ArcLight sitting here, I agreed. If you're there and everyone is immersed in the movie with you, it is a different feel, and it is very, very fun. And like I said, like you mentioned, A Quiet Place, when we watched that, everyone was quiet and into the movie, and it definitely had an impact.
Yeah. Even A Quiet Place 2 was like that for us. So
yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Now, quick segue.
Yes.
On the other hand, I want you to think back to the opening scene of Scream 2, the movie theater.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
That scene bugs me because I have never seen a movie theater that rowdy during a movie on opening night.
Me either.
I was like, okay. I mean, I've seen some rowdy audiences that get excited, but when the movie stops or starts,
Mm-hmm.
when the movie's playing, people kind of calm down a little bit.
Yeah.
But man, the movie's playing and people are just like jumping all over the seats and
Running down the aisles.
Yeah, running down the aisle. Yeah, I love Scream 2 and Scream, and I love the whole series. But man, every time I watch that opening scene, I'm just like, oh. I'm like, sit down and shut up and watch the movie. Damn kids. Get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn.
First, he created the most frightening film ever made. Then, he took his unique vision of terror one step further. Now, George A. Romero takes us out of the night, beyond the dawn, and into the darkest day of horror the world has ever known. Day of the Dead.
Oh, wow! I actually I remember to hit my stopwatch
I hit mine
at the
too.
right time. Usually I forget until like 5 minutes in.
Right. I've done that. I do that actually a lot as well. So I'm like, I'll add 2 minutes to that.
Well, it's time for our movie discussion, buddy.
Yes. This was your pick, man.
Yep, it was my pick, man. All right.
Yeah. All right.
What movie did I pick?
What movie did you pick? You picked.
Oh,
What was it? Day of the Dead.
Day of the Dead.
The original Day of the Dead.
Yes, the 1985. So I'm going to be honest here.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Here's a crazy little factoid about me.
Ooh.
When I picked this movie, I had Day and Dawn backwards. In my mind, Day of the Dead was the second in Romero's early zombie trilogy.
Ah.
Boy, did I learn the truth. Day of the Dead is the third,
Right.
which everybody listening to this probably already knows. But yeah, so it was Night of the Living Dead, and then Dawn of the Dead,
Mm-hmm.
and then the Day of the Dead. So I guess you're wondering what I thought of this movie.
I am curious.
You ready?
I'm ready, man. I'm always ready. Yeah, lay it on me.
Because I'm curious what you thought too, because it was both of our first time
Yes.
watching it all the way through.
Correct. Yep.
I liked it a lot.
All right.
And scene. I liked it a lot. My first instinct is to say I loved it, and I love parts of it. But
Right.
it had a few issues.
Sure.
But overall, I liked it a lot.
There you I like that.
What about you?
I would same thing with this one. I liked it. Yeah. I liked it.
I wonder. I'm sure we're both going to come up with the same pluses and minuses.
I would say they're probably going to be close. But yeah, I would say it's not like my favorite zombie movie ever for sure, but I liked it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's up there though for me.
Oh wow, okay.
I mean, I'm trying to well, Shaun of the Dead obviously
Right.
is your favorite.
It is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, here's the interesting thing. Night of the Living Dead was amazing when it came out.
Absolutely.
Blew people away.
Right.
Dawn of the Dead came out. Blew people away.
Mm-hmm.
They loved it back then.
Right.
Day of the Dead did not blow people away.
Oh really?
When it came out, people were disappointed.
Oh really? I didn't know
And
that.
I kind of feel sorry for poor George Romero back then because he made this wonderful movie and people wanted more Dawn of the Dead.
Huh.
And as we have seen, and here we're about to enter spoiler territory.
Yes. Good call.
So those of you listening, if you haven't seen George Romero's 1985 Day of the Dead, you might want to go watch it before listening further because we're going to spoil some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this movie is a lot more contemplative and philosophical, a little bit less action, a little bit less zombie destruction and action than Dawn of the Dead was.
For sure. Yep. Absolutely.
And then get this, buddy.
What's that?
Not too long, like I think maybe a couple months only, like right after Day of the Dead was released, Return of the Living Dead was released. And we all know how that one sits with horror fans.
Oh yeah.
That one was, people loved it.
I love Return of the Living Dead.
I did too. I haven't watched it in a long time.
Yeah.
It's on my rewatch list right now.
Ooh, nice.
Because yeah, I own it. I just haven't watched it in a while. And I feel like it's time.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But yeah, so this movie, you have I love the opening of the movie.
Oh, me too.
And right away, I'm going to talk about the score.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, please.
The score was composed by John Harrison, who was actually also the first assistant director on the movie.
Oh, that's cool.
He also composed the score to Creepshow, which came out. So Romero released Dawn of the Dead, and then in between that and Day of the Dead, he also released the movie Night Riders, which was like medieval people on motorcycles.
Oh, weird. I do not know that movie.
I remember when it came out. I don't know if I ever saw it, but I remember the poster and all.
Sweet.
And then Creepshow. Awesome. Which is a classic now. I think Creepshow was favorably received when it came out. It wasn't a blockbuster.
Mm-hmm.
But then he wanted to make Day of the Dead, and he actually wanted it to be a much bigger movie. But because of the poor reception to Night Riders and the okay reception to Creepshow, I think the studios didn't really give him the budget that he wanted to make the Day of the Dead he originally intended to make. But in interviews, he does say he ended up making the movie that he wanted to make. So he was happy with Day of the Dead.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
And I can see why, yeah. I can totally see why. But, yeah, back to the first assistant director.
Yeah.
That was a tangent. I love the music. When I first listened to the music, it kind of threw me a little bit.
I could see that.
You know?
Yeah. Totally.
It's not exactly like your regular scary horror movie soundtrack.
Not at all. Especially that first song that plays.
Yeah.
Man, that was... yeah, not at all.
But, watching the movie, and then they play that score throughout the bonus features as well.
Oh, nice.
And I started falling in love with the score. And I absolutely love it now. So, and then you also have something that sounded very familiar to me. When they get out of the helicopter and they're standing in the street, and he's sitting there going, "Hello!"
Right.
"Hello!"
Yep.
I was like, this sounds familiar to me. And then, what do you know? The Gorillaz, their
Like the
very first
band?
album. Yeah, the band. They have their first album. They have a song called M1A1. And the beginning of the song is actually the score to Day of the Dead plus a sample of him going, "Hello!
What?
Is anybody there?" And
That's awesome.
yeah, I went back and listened to it, and it's so cool to listen to now.
Oh, I need to listen to that right after this. That is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll love it. But yeah, then I just like that opening. I love the empty streets. I love the alligator.
Yep. Yep.
Poor alligator.
I know.
The alligator it fell out of the truck. They dropped it. This was in the bonus features. Yeah, it's so sad. The alligator wranglers dropped the alligator trying to take it out of the truck because it's huge.
Yeah.
And it bumped its nose, and its little nose was bleeding. And if you watch the scene, you can see his nose is like all pink. But I was like, man, they have like zombies walking right behind this live alligator.
Yeah, that was awesome.
It was awesome because you know why?
Why?
Those two zombies were the alligator handlers.
Dude,
They put them in zombie makeup.
That is hilarious. That's awesome.
And then you have one of the most famous zombies in any movie ever,
So good.
Dr. Tongue.
Yep.
Such a great, I
Well,
love that still.
And then it showed, if I remember right, I might be wrong, but I feel like right at that part where you see it, and I can't remember, but I think you see Tom Savini, like right around that, like you see him in the credits. I thought
It's
it
close.
was it's close to that. So
No, when you see Dr. Tongue, that's when the actual movie title comes
you're
up.
right. You're right.
It
You're
says
right.
Day
you're
of the
right.
Dead.
Yep. You're right.
But yeah, I honestly can't remember which zombies were showing
I
when
can't
his title
either.
came up.
But
Yeah,
that was one of the coolest zombie effects. It is one of the coolest zombie effects ever. It was great.
And that was a precursor to this entire movie when it comes to the zombie effects. Like, even by today's standards, some of those, like the zombie kills,
Oh my
were
gosh.
incredible.
Yep. I was not expecting. I
So-
hadn't seen a lot of those. I'd seen some because it's a well-known movie, and so I'd seen
Yeah,
some,
yeah.
but I had not seen all of them. And so when those happened, I thought the same thing. I was like, "Whoa, that's intense. That's really
Yeah.
good."
We'll get to those in a second.
Yeah, yep.
But then, after this awesome opening, and then they fly off, then you have a very long extended. Well, they go underground.
Yep.
And the movie becomes doctors versus military, or scientists versus military.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it gets a little hit or miss.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I was never bored. Audiences evidently back in the day were bored during this long stretch where the zombies aren't really rampaging.
Right.
But I liked that they were doing experiments on zombies. Again, like you, I had seen a lot of. Nothing was a surprise to me, let's say.
Okay. Fair enough.
You see enough of these. You see Eli Roth's History of Horror. You watch his Zombies episode, or you watch In Search of Darkness, which is what made me want to finally watch this movie in the first place.
Nice.
They show quite a bit. They show Bub first of all,
Right.
and Bub is on the new movie poster. Like
Yep.
Bub is a star,
Oh yeah, for sure.
and he was played by a guy named Howard Sherman. And I'm gonna just say right now, my favorite acting and my favorite character in the movie.
Mhm.
And what grammar was that?
An entire the movie.
In the entire movie. In the entire movie
There we go.
was Bub.
Yeah.
Bub the zombie.
Totally. I 100% agree with you on that.
Close second was the zombie that they turned the lights off on. There's the zombie they have chained up to the wall,
Mhm.
and the Dr. Logan, played by Richard Liberty, who is also awesome.
Yeah, he is.
As he's leaving the room, he's telling the zombie, think about what you've done. Think about it. And then they leave, and they turn off the lights, and the face the zombie makes is priceless. It's one of my favorite moments in the entire movie. But, okay, so here we go. I'm going to get my negatives out of the way.
Please, yeah. Yep.
Too much yelling.
Yes, absolutely.
Was that yours?
It wasn't, but I totally agree.
Okay.
Yep.
Evidently, a lot of these actors were stage actors before they were in Day of the Dead, including, I think, Gary Clark played Steele, he was the big military guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, he got kind of annoying.
Yeah,
and I know they're
sure.
supposed to be, you're not supposed to like them, really.
Mm-hmm.
But he was a little over the top and annoying.
Agreed.
And then you have to talk about Rhodes,
Yeah.
the captain,
Our
played
main
by Joe Pilato.
antagonist, Yeah.
Yeah, the main antagonist. He was great, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
But man, just turn it down a notch.
Yeah.
Sometimes. He was just constantly like just super intense, and yeah, I appreciate his acting job. I think he did a really good job. I do like, it was kind of grating after a while.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody else I thought was okay. Well, then there was the other, I forget his name, but the other military guy that ran around with Steele,
Right,
who was just a buffoon.
Yeah.
And yeah, I wanted him to die quick.
Yeah.
But I loved Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like these days the movie would definitely push what it would be like for a woman to be in this situation with just a bunch of men.
Agreed. Absolutely. And I actually thought that there was going to be more about that in this movie, and there wasn't. Really.
Yeah, me too.
Yep.
I'm with you.
Yep.
They allude to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like in one scene they allude to it. After that, nothing.
Yep.
And I was like, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for not like going there.
Agreed.
And then let's see, who else? Miguel.
Yeah.
Miguel was her lover.
Mm-hmm.
There was something I loved about Miguel.
Yeah.
He was played by Anthony Dileo, and in the movie he seemed like a small guy
Right.
with the deepest voice.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I totally agree.
And he was just going crazy.
Yep.
And I loved it. He was very melodramatic,
Right.
but I loved it. It was fun.
Yep.
McCready and John.
Mm-hmm.
So John, I don't know his last name, but he was the guy with the West Indies
Right.
accent, and right away, I was like, I think he's faking that accent.
Oh, yeah. I thought the same thing.
And sure enough, in the bonus features, he's totally faking it.
Yeah. I think he was born in, like, Massachusetts or something like that.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
And he even says that people in public, they don't believe it's him because he doesn't have the accent. So he has to do the accent for people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So then he's got his partner in crime, McCready.
Right.
I think that's his name.
Yeah, I think so.
The amazing thing about him was near the end of the movie when they're fighting the zombies in the tunnels, and he like shoots a couple zombies and then he barks at one of them.
Right.
Did you catch that?
Yeah, I did.
Like, what a moment. I was like, what the hell just happened?
I think it was McDermott.
McDermott, thank
Yep,
you.
Yep, McDermott.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Played by Jarlath Conroy.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, McDermott. What was Kurt Russell's name in The Thing?
Oh, was it McCready? No.
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 I don't know. I'm getting McCready from somewhere, but somebody out there is gonna text me and tell me after they listen to this, and then I'll be like, "How'd you get my number?"
I've been giving it to everybody.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, everybody's been
So
asking.
that's where they're coming from.
Sorry.
So yeah, so that's I think that's. Oh, okay. One more actor I have to mention.
Please.
Greg Nicotero. Johnson? Did you not know, my friend?
No.
Oh, I'm glad I get to tell you this one.
Yeah.
He was the blonde bearded guy when his
Yeah.
partner got his neck bitten
Right.
and a big chunk taken out of his neck, and he like sprayed his weapon all over the place, and he killed his friend Johnson.
Yeah.
That's Greg Nicotero, the creator of, well, not the creator of the Walking Dead
Right.
comic book, but the showrunner.
Yeah.
And
That's
also
crazy.
amazing special effects artist.
Yeah, I had no idea that was him.
Yeah, it doesn't look like him. If
No,
you see,
it doesn't.
yeah, if you see interviews with Nicotero now, yeah, it doesn't look like him at all.
No, that's awesome.
But that was him, and he also helped Savini. That's where he got his start, man.
Are you serious? That's so cool.
He got his start helping Tom Savini with the makeup effects in this movie, the special effects.
That's awesome. I love that. Oh,
So, yeah,
that's
so-
cool.
Good acting, pretty much all around.
Mhm.
Some melodramatic.
Yep.
And a lot of conversation, which I actually liked. I just got tired of, especially Rhodes, just yelling at
Right.
everybody
Right.
and being just so over the top intense. And I was like, all right, take it down a notch, dude. Come on.
Right.
But I mean, I guess it made his death all that more satisfying. I liked the story of Bub.
Mm-hmm.
Again, my favorite character in the entire movie. I loved his facial expressions.
He was for real. His mouth always doing like whatever it's doing was great. Oh, it
His
was
bottom
great.
jaw going left and right.
Yep. Oh, so
it was
good.
so good. The actor Howard Sherman, he was talking about how he took the part very seriously, and when Dr. Logan is moving his hand in front of his face, he said that Bub as a zombie, he's so in like when he's listening to the music, especially.
Mhm.
He's so enraptured by the music, and his mind is so slow that he wouldn't notice the quick movements. It's not until Logan puts his finger in his face that he focuses on the finger and watches Logan's finger go down to the tape recorder.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he said that wasn't really planned. He forced Richard Liberty to do that at the time.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So then, obviously, as we know, at some point in the movie, the zombies are going to get in the tunnels.
Right. Yeah.
All hell's going to break loose.
Yep.
And oh my goodness, man.
It was so awesome.
These were some amazing kills.
They really were.
It was really hard for me to pick my favorite kill out of all these.
Yep. I have one, but I thought the same thing. Like, after seeing everyone just get mutilated,
Yeah.
it was tough.
Special shout out. Oh gosh, who was it? I can't remember. It's like one of the first seriously brutal kills where the zombies rip his head off
Oh,
and they're pulling his head away. I can't remember which
who it
character
was
that
either.
was.
It was one of the army guys.
Yeah,
The military guys, excuse me.
Yeah. But one thing I kind of noticed the first time I watched it, and then it was pointed out in the bonus features especially, was the way his voice gets really high.
Yeah.
Like he's screaming, and then they made his voice go super high as his vocal cords are getting stretched.
Oh, so good.
It's so gruesome. Like,
Oh,
literally, to me, maybe the most disturbing part of the movie.
that's fair. Yep.
Steele shoots himself, kills
Yeah.
himself. His little buddy, I think it's Rickles. Is Rickles his little buddy?
That sounds right. Would make sense.
I'm sorry if I got that wrong, but I think it's Rickles. He gets his eye popped out,
Yeah.
and that was amazing.
Yep. One half his face ripped off too.
Yeah.
So good.
And then, of course, Rhodes is a very famous death.
And that was the one I had seen because like you said, it's famous. So I knew that one pretty well.
Yeah, they showed it in Search of Darkness.
Right. You're right.
They showed that one. My
one.
gosh, my voice. I apologize, everybody, and you,
Don't
Andrew.
apologize.
I'm sorry.
Knock it off.
The behind the scenes of Rhodes' death is amazing.
Oh, really?
So here's what happened. They used pig guts for that and for the scenes, the two different scenes where like the zombie sits up and his intestines just fall out on the floor.
Yep.
And it happens in the dream sequence with Miguel.
Oh, right.
So
yep.
These were all pig guts. They had a week shoot away from the mine where they had, I think it's when they went to West Palm Beach for the street for a week, but I'm not totally sure. But anyway, they had to go to a different location for a week. And they kept the pig guts in a refrigerator. Well, somebody unplugged that refrigerator.
Oh, no.
So when they came back and they had to do the road scene, these pig guts had been rotting in this refrigerator for more than a week. I think a couple weeks at least. And you could smell them from extremely far away. So imagine poor Joe Pilato. They have no choice. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. They have to film this scene. They can't just go out and get pig guts somewhere. So they stuff these pig guts into his fake body that they're about to rip apart.
Oh my gosh.
And all the special effects people around, they had stuff under their nose. They had plugs in their nose. They had protection to keep the smell to a minimum. Joe Pilato did not.
Dude.
And he had to sit there for like 4 hours with that smell right underneath his nose.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, very difficult.
Yeah, holy moly.
And speaking of difficult, they were talking about how just the entire shoot, because they were shooting in a real mine.
Oh, that's
which,
cool.
Yeah. I that was one of the things I noticed was how amazing the set looked.
Right.
And turns out it's just a real mine with actual
cool.
administrative offices in that mine.
That's awesome.
Yeah, right?
That's so cool.
But not so easy to shoot in. People barely saw daylight because they'd shoot all day, and by the time they came out of the mine, it's nighttime.
Oh my gosh.
They're breathing in the dust and whatever is down in that mine, like for months.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah. Lori Cardille, who played Sarah, who I thought was brilliant, she mentioned that she has asthma.
Oh, jeez.
Could be from the mines, and she's, surprised that not everybody that worked on that movie has respiratory issues now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then finally, so the zombie kills were amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Again, some of the best, even by today's standards, some of the best I've seen.
For sure, I agree.
And then I thought the ending was kind of, it was cool. It was fine.
Yep.
There's a quick fake dream sequence where Sarah dreams the zombies are stopping her, but no, they got away.
Yep.
Her and McDermott and John,
they
all got away to a quiet beach.
Yep.
And she's marking off November. October is over.
Yep.
And now it's November. And then the credits roll.
Yep.
So yeah, I liked it. A little bit too much yelling at each other.
Mm-hmm.
Your turn.
Well, no, I agree with everything you say. Yeah, right. No, you're good. I agree with everything. I actually, though, am kind of in that crowd of the original group that watched this and thought maybe there was a little too much dialogue. And I guess my reason being, maybe it wasn't too much dialogue. Maybe it was just the back and forth. Because it does just kind of go back and forth. Scientists, military, scientists, military, scientists, military. And maybe that's why, because I just went, okay, it's the same fight again. Like, we're upset at each other.
Yeah. And I think that's what I'm talking about with the too much yelling.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay. So then, yeah, I agree with that. One thing I liked, or a couple things, I guess, would be I really enjoyed that our three sort of main characters, besides Miguel, got out. I mean, they lived, which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I thought it was fun. I like, too, that Miguel, especially kind of in that time as well, was her lover. Like, I thought that was cool because he's sort of not the stereotypical, boyfriend of the, and again, and kind of more at that time.
Yeah.
I thought that was great. I was like, sweet, that's more realistic. Like, I'm all about that.
Yeah, if you had lined up all the characters
Mm-hmm.
and said, okay, Lori, one of these characters is her love interest, or Sarah, sorry,
Right.
is one of these characters is her love interest. I don't know if I would have picked Miguel.
Agreed. Yep. And then I will say probably my favorite scene. Well, one of my favorite lines when the doctor is yelling at the zombie and he goes, what does he say? He's like, that wasn't very nice. That wasn't very nice at all, or something like that. And I was like, it made me
That was
laugh.
right. That was right before the lights.
Right. Yes. I love that. But I think my favorite scene, though, besides the deaths in it, was when Miguel gets bit, and I want to say Lori because that's the actress, but Sarah just immediately cuts his arm off. She knocks him out, takes the knife or whatever, machete, and just cuts his arm off, and then cauterizes it. I mean, but it's like 2 seconds. She just knows what to do. I was like, that was awesome. I was not expecting that to happen, but I love how fast she was. She knew exactly what to do. I just thought that was a great scene. So cool.
And it was the first time that somebody had tried that in a zombie movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, but unfortunately, like that, I like that too. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, Miguel, instead of waiting to see if it worked,
Right.
decides to kill himself by zombie.
Right.
And oh my God, if I'm gonna kill myself, geez, at least take a gun with you, dude.
Right. Oh, that was
like the
horrible.
last thing I'd want is to die by being eaten by zombies.
Yep.
Like that would be the worst.
Yep. I get how heroic his actions were, but yeah, he didn't need to. Yeah, if he had a gun or something, would have been a lot faster. But that was horrible.
Oh man.
Ugh. Yep.
Horrible. Yeah. So, like, who knows if it worked? As we know in Walking Dead, I think it worked for one of the characters.
Yeah.
But that was such a great idea.
It was, yeah.
But that also brings up Tom Savini's movie magic. Holy crap.
Yeah.
A little segue. When I was watching the commentary to Friday the 13th, the original, one thing they referred to themselves as, like the special effects people, were magicians.
Oh, nice.
They're doing a magic trick to try and get
Totally.
the audience to believe that this is real. Even though the audience knows it's not. They know it's special effects and makeup. But see if you can find where the makeup is. And one of the best scenes in the movie is Miguel getting his arm chopped off.
Agreed.
Because it looks real. And they did it really nicely. They had to put some clay in the fake arm so that the knife would stick the first time she drives it down.
Oh.
And in that shot, his arm is in a hole in the ground, his real arm.
Right. Okay.
But then it cuts to another shot where she's like kind of sawing through the arm.
Yeah.
That's his real arm. And that is a machete with a little hole cut out.
Nice. Okay.
And then she's sawing down, and you see his real hand like move. His fingers move a little bit. And then it cuts back to the fake arm as she cuts the whole thing off and then cauterizes it. But yeah,
That's
brilliant.
awesome.
It's like a magic trick.
Yeah,
and I
that's
love
really
that.
good.
I love that analogy.
I do too. That's awesome, and it really was a great scene. Like it looks real. It looks very real. It was excellent.
Yeah.
Well done.
And that's just one of many in the movie. Like,
Yep.
Tom Savini is amazing.
Yeah.
And
Well,
this
that's
is why
he's
he's
like
a
one of
legend.
yeah, exactly.
So, what else? Anything else?
I think that's it. Those are my notes. And then, like I said, pretty much everything you said, I agree with.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. I thought it was a fun movie for sure. Which actually, that doesn't remind me. It brings us. Should we do our 3 questions?
Let's do it.
All right.
Who would cross the bridge of death must answer me these questions 3.
So, question number 1, Scotty.
Yeah, go ahead.
what
Go
was-
ahead. Question number 1.
Question number 1. What was your favorite kill / death?
Yeah, this was a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
I think ultimately it has to be Rhodes.
Yep.
His body getting torn in half. What an amazing shot. It's just so visceral.
Mm-hmm.
And in a way it's just really realistic. It was a struggle for me to figure out what he was saying because he's yelling at the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
And, eventually I found out that he's saying choke on it. And I was like, what is he saying? I had to watch the bonus features to figure it out.
Nice.
But it was really hard to pick between that one and the guy getting his head ripped off with the screaming going super high pitched because that was just like Rhodes is kind of fun. It's a fun zombie kill.
Right.
That other one was just freaking disturbing.
Right.
So in the end, I think Rhodes edges out the other one.
Mm-hmm.
But man, that other one gets super huge honorable mention.
For
So,
sure.
You?
Same thing.
Thing.
I agree with that 100%. And
Kinda
one thing
figured you would.
Yeah, Rhodes is just it's insane. And one thing I love too is after he gets literally torn apart, it's just a few shots, for like I don't know, a minute at least of just zombies eating pieces of him.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa,
That was a great sequence, right?
It really was. It was excellent. So yeah, I think, and now knowing the story behind it too, it just adds to it. So Rhodes for sure, I think is my favorite.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good job, Joe Pilato, wherever you are.
Yeah, man, way to go. So question number 2 then, was it scary?
I would say no. By today's standards, no.
Mm.
I'm not really scared of zombies.
Right.
And even by today's standards, there was only a couple of small moments where I felt some tension. For the most part, everything was maybe because I'd seen so many little scenes here and there. I was never really tense for any of the characters. The only part that really affected me was the head ripping scene with the vocal cords. And again, that didn't really affect me until I saw the bonus features and I really heard the high pitched voice and realized that was like a purposeful thing. Wow. But overall, not so scary.
Yeah.
When the zombies are released in the caves, I wanted them to slaughter everybody. Right. I wanted Bub to get loose. I wanted Bub to join in, and I love that he didn't really join in. He's kind of above the other zombies.
Right.
He doesn't need to eat people right away. He just shoots them.
Yep.
So yeah, not so scary. What about you?
Same. I don't think it was very scary. I'm with you. Zombies have never really freaked me out or scared me, especially slow zombies. So yeah, again, there were some great moments. There was intense moments, but I would say it wasn't very scary. Nope.
Now, real quick aside, now this one didn't have that much tension in it for me, but like I'm just now in my mind from what you said that zombies don't really scare you.
Mm-hmm.
But there are movies and scenes from The Walking Dead, of course, where you are scared for the characters.
That's true. You're right.
And the tension is high. And, I'm thinking of The Walking Dead.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of Shaun of the Dead at times because you love those characters.
That's true. You're right.
And then I'm also thinking of, I'm not sure if you've seen it, Train to Busan.
I have. Yep.
To me, I think that is the best zombie movie I've ever seen.
Wow.
And I've never felt such tension and fear for the characters as I felt in that movie.
Right. Yep.
As far as zombie movies are concerned.
Fair. Nope. Yep. I would agree with you on that. Absolutely.
So, but yeah, Day of the Dead, we agree.
Yeah.
Not that scary.
Not too scary. Now, question 3. Did you have fun with horror, Scotty?
I had a lot of fun with horror. Yeah. This movie was a lot of fun. If you're... I think the conversations bothered you a little bit more than me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like the constant yelling in the conversations, but I didn't mind the extended moments of dialogue themselves.
Sure.
I wasn't ever bored.
Good.
But man, when the zombies get in there, it is so much zombie fun. At least for me, I was just laughing and giggling. And just also in awe of the amazing special effects, especially for 1985.
Yeah.
Like, amazing. Tom Savini.
Serious.
I bow to him.
Just...
Did you have fun?
I
think you
fun.
did.
Of course
Yeah.
I did, yeah. Yep. Agreed. Like, when those zombies go down there, it's just anarchy. And, I'm with you. I had a grin on my face, and I just enjoyed every second of it. But yeah, it was fun. I totally had fun with this movie. Absolutely.
So yeah, and that's awesome, because I think when we do older movies, it's not just did we enjoy the movie, did we like the movie, but another big question for these movies is, for somebody who didn't grow up watching them,
right?
Did they hold up?
Right.
And I think Day of the Dead, probably, at least for me, was better today than it would have been if I watched it back then.
Fair. I like that point. Yeah.
I think back then I might have been with the masses. I might have agreed with people that it was a little too slow at times.
Yeah.
Because when I was in 1985, I was still a young teenager myself, and I just wanted to see blood and guts and gore. And you have to wait quite a while for that in this movie.
You do.
But
that's true.
As an adult, I love the conversations. I love the story. So
I love it.
That's
man.
an interesting thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, we agreed on this one, unlike last week.
Right. I know. I
Can I
hate
bring
being
that
right
up
all the
again?
time, man. I had to get you back.
Of course you did. And shout out to all the people who catch that revenge reference.
Right. Yes.
Other people are going, revenge? What movie's that?
Yeah, right. I ain't seen that one.
Okay, so before we move on, there's a few things that I looked at my notes,
Mm-hmm.
and a few things I wanted to mention. First of all, the bats in the cave. Did you notice there was like one section of the cave where they had a fake bat or two just flying horizontally across the cave?
I guess
Cracked me up.
didn't. I don't know if I really caught that.
They were just such, like, as far as all the special effects go, they were great, but those bats were such, I mean, obviously fake bats.
Right.
That just, they made me giggle. Also, shout out to the very assorted group of zombies that came down into the caves. Especially the
clown.
the clown zombie, yes, I have that one written down. The zombie that still has a cigar in his mouth.
Yeah.
And then the I forget why I wrote down mailbox, but the mailbox football zombie. Oh, because it says mailbox on his football uniform.
Oh,
I think.
funny. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
What else? Real quick. Also another quick fact,
Yes, please.
and then we can move on. Lori Cardille,
Mhm.
again, who played Sarah.
Right.
Her father was the newscaster in Night of the Living Dead.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So
Oh, that's
very
so
cool. I thought that was amazing.
I'll set us down, but I won't leave my seat, and I'll keep the engine running. Now, the first sign of trouble, I'm going up. If you ain't on board when that happens, you're likely to have a lousy afternoon.
And that
love
is Day of the Dead. And now that we've done that, Andrew,
Yes.
I think it's time to move on because I am anxious to hear what we are watching this week.
I'm anxious to tell you what we're watching this week. So this movie, my brother told me about this. So I don't know, maybe a year or two ago.
Okay.
And so I texted him today before we started recording this, and I said, "Hey, I think you're gonna like what I picked." And he said, "Hold on, don't tell me. Let me guess." And he's given me a few movies, but then it was like I think his second or third try, he got it.
Oh.
And I said, "Yep, that's the one." And so, this is kind
So
of
Alex loses, is what you're saying.
Alex loses. No, Alex. Well, depending if this movie is good and I like it, then I think Alex is a winner.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
Alex
see.
liked Psycho Gorman, so he's a winner in my book.
That's right. I know that text, that stinker. Where he said,
Shout
team...
out to Alex.
My brother said he's Team Scotty. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but your wife was Team Andrew, so.
That's right. No, I love Alex, so it's fine. Anywho, so this is there's two of these movies, and I haven't seen either, and I'm quite curious if you've actually seen this one. It's from 2014, and it pops up pretty much every time I turn on Netflix. It is a found footage film.
Ooh.
And this is called Creep.
Okay, I have heard of this, and this is a
Ooh.
movie that I have also wanted to see.
Yay!
So, yeah. Oh, man, that's great. I
Yes.
don't know if I was aware that it was found footage.
Oh, sorry. Hopefully I didn't. I mean, well, I guess you'll see it right away.
Well, now I'm not going to watch it. You
Yeah.
ruined it.
Yeah, sorry.
No.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've heard good things. So
me too. And this one, and I looked it up because not much about it, because again, I really don't know much about this one, but I did make sure I looked it up just to see what genres it was, and it says horror, so it's horror.
no, it's definitely horror.
Okay.
I think it was either Fright Rags or Cavity Colors even did a small clothing line based on Creep.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
I think it was Cavity Colors.
Oh, that's really cool. Okay.
But yeah, oh man. So this movie obviously is the story of how Tom York from Radiohead wrote the song Creep.
Just a heads up, I was singing that song a lot today to my wife and daughter.
Oh,
and
good.
I don't know if they appreciated it because I sang it a lot.
I like it.
Thanks, man. So cool. Okay, yeah. So next week, 2014,
Ooh, that's awesome.
Creep. Which
I am very excited.
I am too. I am very excited about this one. If anyone is curious, like I mentioned, if I see it on Netflix all the time. So if you have a Netflix account, it's on there.
Yeah.
If you want to watch, or other places. I'm
Sweet.
sure. Yeah. There we go.
Sweet.
Sweet. Should we plug our stuff?
Yeah, I mean this is the end of episode 15, so
Episode 15. That's insane. I feel like
we're halfway to 30.
which is halfway to 60.
Whoa.
Which, yeah, add 40 more. Guess what? 100. We're essentially at 100 episodes at this point.
Yeah, basically.
Basically. Anyway.
You know what? But you saying that, it made me think we're halfway to 30.
Right.
And then you said we're halfway to 60, and I was like, oh, when we do hit 60, we will have been doing this for over a year.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Let me rephrase that. Been doing this. Oh, my gosh.
I thought you
my
said that.
enunciation is terrible today. No.
Fine.
I was like, been doing this.
Maybe it's like a new character you're working on.
Yeah, maybe I just, I didn't do my vocal exercises before the podcast.
Right. Well, next week sing Creep before we start recording.
Yeah, I will.
And if you don't serenade me with Creep before we start recording, before I hit that button, I'm going to be a little bit mad next week. So make a
All right,
note.
Creep. Dude, I am so excited.
Me too.
That's a good choice, man.
Thanks, buddy. Real quick.
They're all good choices, but
And
yeah.
everyone,
okay, plug us.
Plug us. Please go on our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, our Spotify
Facebook.
playlist.
Twitter, Instagram.
See, this is what I mean. If you're not serenading me next week, what's the point?
Right?
What's the point?
I'm only going to serenade you at the end of the episode, so people have to listen to the entire episode to hear the serenade.
Okay, that works for me as long as I'm serenaded next week.
Spotify.
God, so beautiful.
I love you, Andrew.
And I love you.
you, buddy. This has been fun with horror. Made it up on the spot.
On the spot? God, we have a Groundlings graduate over here.
No.
I know. I'm just kidding. All right, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for your songs. Thank you for another fun-filled week.
Yep. It was good.
Yeah.
It was good. Day of the Dead.
Day of the Dead, man. What fun.
I think. Yeah. I'm gonna go listen to the Shaun of the Dead soundtrack. I'm gonna watch Creep.
Nice.
And yeah. Have a wonderful horror-filled week, my friends.
Yes, please enjoy your scary, spooky week. I don't know what happened there, man. I tried to be cool, and I just really dropped the ball on that one. So
Wow.
We're gonna end this episode on a high note.
I still love you, buddy.
I love you too, man.
All right. Have a good week.
You too. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
That wasn't very nice, you know. That wasn't very nice at all.